Good morning, everyone. This is the news for Wednesday, May 7th. The Sistine Chapel is ready for the Cardinals, who will begin the conclave to elect the next pope today in the Vatican. This morning, they celebrated Mass, and around 10 a.m. Eastern Time, they will process to the Sistine Chapel, where they will take the oath to obey the procedures and keep the votes secret. One vote will take place today for the next pope. Stay tuned to Ave Maria Radio and Annunciation Radio for continuing coverage. Here in the U.S., the Justice Department has launched an investigation into Washington State's new mandatory reporting law. It requires clergy members to report child abuse or neglect, even if it's heard during the confessional. Supporters of the law say no institution should be exempt from reporting. Archbishop Paul Etienne of Seattle said in a statement, "Everyone should be alarmed by this broad overreach from the state legislature and governor." He quoted St. Peter in Acts of the Apostles saying, "We must obey God rather than men." He also reassured the faithful that confessions will remain confidential. The DOJ is also seeking to have a lawsuit against the Food and Drug Administration dismissed. It was brought by Idaho, Kansas, and Missouri, and they are seeking to roll back the Biden administration changes to access to mifepristone, the drug used in chemical abortions. The Justice Department said in a court filing that their argument for dismissal is not based on the merits, but that the states do not have standing. President Donald Trump hosted Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney at the White House yesterday for their first in-person meeting since Carney's election victory. Here's News Nation's Joe Khalil.
Prime Minister Carney did hold out some hope. He actually did say that he feels there are some changes to the USMCA that they could negotiate, and President Trump didn't object, seemed to sort of nod his head in agreement there. The first thing you noticed was, despite the obvious sort of awkward tension because of the state of affairs between the countries, both of these men were very cordial with each other. Prime Minister Carney called President Trump a president who relentlessly fights for American workers. They both complimented each other in that kind of way.
Trump indicated he and Carney would not be discussing the prospect of Canada becoming the 51st state as part of their private talks, but Carney made it clear it's not up for discussion anyway. And there were reports that multiple Indian planes were shot down after the country launched attacks on Pakistan yesterday. Pakistani officials claim their country downed the aircrafts inside Indian territory. The Indian government hasn't responded to those claims. This comes after India said it attacked, quote, terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan in the disputed Kashmir region. A spokesperson for the Pakistani military acknowledged the strikes and said Pakistan will respond in time. I'm Matthew Handley. Now back to Morning Offering.